Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tori if you're new here, and today I wanted to sit down and chat with you about some pantry staples that I like to keep on hand for a variety of reasons. This video has been highly requested and I've never really sat down to take an inventory of what I have on my shelves in the event of an emergency, and that will look different for everybody. So we will go over that in a little bit. The girls are playing with my husband in the other room if you hear any of that. But if you're new here, hi, hello, my name is Tori. I am a mother to 4, stay-at-home wife, and we really just try and do this homestead thing on a budget. So if you like that kind of thing, definitely hit the subscribe button. On this channel, we do a lot of preparedness videos, and preparedness looks different for everyone, like we like to say on the channel. So if you are new to this, if you are a seasoned prepper, whatever you like to call yourself, I feel like we all have something to bring to the table. So definitely chime in on the comments below and let's get started. So today I'm going to reference a list, and I decided to make that into a downloadable PDF. It's free. I just made it on Canva for you quick so you could keep it in the grocery cart with you. You could keep it in your actual pantry and check it off, but I thought that would be fun. So that's down here. I'm gonna just bring it up here for you. This list is not boring, but it's pretty standard. I go off of this list because I've always gone off of this list. Honestly, my family has, I guess, gotten used to this list, but I do have some of their favorites in here as well. And then we'll go over why I store these items and the shelf life and whatnot. So let me know what you like to stock up on in the title of this video. I said 10, but you may see me sneak in some more. So number 1 on my list is gonna be rice, and I can do white, I can do long grain or jasmine. I'm not gonna store brown rice just because 1, my family doesn't like it, and 2, it does not store indefinitely. There's an oil in there that could make it go rancid. Nutritionally, it depends where you're coming from, so I'm not gonna go down into that rabbit hole, but some people find that it's better for you, and some people find that it's not. It all depends on how your chemical makeup is. Oh, lantern fly. I thought it was going to fly at me. But anyways, the shelf life on rice is going to be 25 years if stored properly. So I put mine in Mylar, I do the oxygen absorber and put it directly into a bucket, 5-gallon bucket with a gamma lid. Really easy to store that way, and it's kind of just adding some extra security by doing the Mylar and the bucket. You don't have to do both, but you do you. Number 2 on the list is going to be dried beans. My favorites are pinto beans. I like black beans, navy beans, lentils, and you could really throw a bunch of different beans in here. You could do chickpeas. I really love growing beans, so it's nice to have that dried bean and then put it back into my containers after we harvest it from the garden. So it depends where you're at on the whole bean thing. I like to buy them from a variety of places. Sam's Club has a good dried bean and you can buy them in bulk. You could do Azure Standard. Where I am right now in Pennsylvania is awesome. I have access to a lot of Amish and Mennonite bulk markets, so I am finding them there. I'm also finding my wheat berries there, and we will get into that when I get to my flour category, but it's the cheapest I've found and it's a pretty good value, and I'm liking the ingredients on some of these. Typically, if you're gonna look for this list, you just want that ingredient. You shouldn't have any additives because you want these to store indefinitely, but do the best that you can. I get that some of those items are a little pricier, believe it or not. So dried beans, they're high in protein and fiber and they're versatile. You can grind them down into a flour. You can put them in a variety of dishes. Bear in mind that you need water or some sort of broth to get those beans back to their state, but you could keep a few canned beans here and there. And that's going to lead me to one item on my prepper pantry shelf that's not on this list, and that's going to be water. Find ways to gather water, find ways to filter water. There is no one perfect method of actually storing water, but think about water, think about how you use it throughout the day, and then go from there. We have animals to take care of, I have children to take care of, I have a garden, so collecting from the rain is helpful, but it really depends on your situation. Just keep water in mind. Next on my list is going to be salt. Salt for me is great just because I can with it, preserve food. It's, you know, a flavor enhancer. You can use it for your health if you're getting a good quality salt. I suggest Redmond's, but the Celtic sea salt is great, and this is going to store indefinitely if stored properly. So salt is on my pantry list. I think it's an important pantry staple, but you can switch that that out for something else if you want. Next on my list is honey, and I'm gonna go as far as storing regular honey and then storing local honey. Local honey is better for you, it's better for your immune system, and that's generally why I'm eating honey, but it's a natural sweetener, it's antibacterial, and it never spoils, so it has that indefinite shelf life. Right now I can get mine in a large jar for $60, and that will last us a while. I would love to get into beekeeping. That's definitely my next venture, so drop any helpful tips and tricks you may have in the comments below. Let me know all there is to know about beekeeping, because I think that will be a fun adventure. And then here's my tip, because I get questions about honey. If it crystallizes, just warm it up to restore it. So you could just put it into some boiling water and then just wait. Just give it some time. Some people expect it to get back to its natural state overnight, but I have found that sometimes I have to boil mine 2 or 3 times depending on the state of the crystallized honey. Next on my list is going to be canned meat. So we have tuna in here, salmon, chicken, Spam, beef, really anything that you can get your hands on. I love Keystone Meats. You can find it at Walmart. You can buy from their website directly if you want. I've been really switching up my tuna for salmon just because it has low mercury and it's better for us, but I have found that wild caught salmon is going way up. My dad, fun fact, is a salmon fisherman, so whenever he gets his catch, I'm always asking for some, and then we can smoke it and dry it, or we can put it in the freezer. That's not something that's going to go into your pantry, so you have to think of a way, they're okay, to store it into your pantry. So canned is where we're going from there. This is great because you need a shelf-stable protein and you have fiber already on your shelf from those beans. And it's really important to have those 2 items together. And the shelf life for the canned meat, depending on the storage, is going to be 2 to 5 years. You all know I ignore some of those expiration dates, so you do whatever's comfortable for you and your household. Number 6 on my list is going to be oats. You could do rolled or steel cut, and I like these because they're great for breakfast. You can use them for baking, and they're phenomenal for energy. And side note for the ladies, they're great for breast milk production. I am postpartum with my 4th. He is going to be a month old, which is crazy to me, and I am going strong with my cookies that I make for that purpose, and we use a lot of oats for that. Again, this would be better if you got them in bulk. Azure Standard has a great quality product, but if you can't find a drop-off location, you could also ship it. It's pretty expensive to do that, or you could just go to your local Sam's Club, Amish market, whatever your heart feels. Oats are great just because they are so versatile on your pantry shelf, and again, they are going to store 2+ years in an airtight container. Number 7 on the list is going to be peanut butters or nut butters, and I want to adventure into growing peanuts next garden season. I don't know how well that's going to work in my climate, but we're going to give it a go. Why not? And I love peanut butter and nut butters because they're high in protein and they're high in healthy fats, and it's filling. It's going to store for 1 to 2 years unopened, but they are really easy to cycle through. So I will stop myself here. It's important to have these pantry staples. I myself have a 2-year pantry, and that's extra food that we are cycling through whenever I find it on sale. I try and spend $5 extra every time we go to the grocery store. So that equals out to about $20 a month, sometimes $25. But this week, for instance, I got boxed pasta for 77 cents. I got 3 of those boxes. And then I got 2 jars of pasta sauce, and they were 2 for $3. So I don't really include tax in that or anything, but it's just nice to have on the shelf in the event of an emergency. I'm a busy mom. Sometimes I can't get to dinner. Sometimes there's not enough in the budget to buy extra items. So I really am exploring my pantry and using these items in ways that normally, conventionally, we wouldn't think to use them in. So it's important to have that knowledge and skill set, in my opinion. So if you need any inspiration for meals, that's also linked in my playlist videos down in the description box. And then on that note, you should have some sort of indefinite pantry like we've been talking about, foods that store indefinitely. So you could utilize a freeze dryer here. You could get those classic staples like we talked about in the first 5 of the list, or you could really go and get some of those MREs and put that up for a rainy day. Next on my list is going to be canned vegetables and fruits. I like to can my own vegetables and fruits, but there are some quality products out there. I like Walnut Creek, and that's some of the Amish stores around this area. If you can't get your hands on those, I think you can order them online, but Walmart does have a lot of canned veggies and fruits, and they're inexpensive. So why? Nutrition and variety. I'm going to kind of hesitate saying nutrition because a lot of the canned veggies and fruits have some added salt and sugar, so you need to factor that in. But it is important to have a well-balanced diet, even if you have some sort of emergency. And when we're speaking about emergencies, I've said it before, it could be a food shortage. It could be a, hey, we don't have enough in the paycheck to get more food. It could be an inflated price. It could be I'm injured and I can't get to the grocery store. It looks so different for everyone. And 9 times out of 10, when I make a video like this, someone says that I'm spreading misinformation. And that's unfortunate that someone would have that mindset. You need to understand that everyone is going through different things in their life, and if they want to prepare, it's not selfish, it's smart, because being prepared means you're not going to be scared in the event of an emergency. And having that calm presence is so important, especially when you're taking care of yourself and little ones. So I always have to say it in a video, if you feel that I'm spreading misinformation, I prefer that you just scroll on by and find someone that suits your needs for these social media platforms. Number 9 on the list is going to be spices and seasonings. So I like garlic powder, I love chili, I love onion powder, I love dill, honestly anything I can get my hands on. I do a lot of my herbs and then I just dry them out and make my own. I just find that it's more cost effective, and herb growing is very easy to do if you don't have any land to grow on, or if you just want to dabble in gardening. You could start with herbs. I suggest doing some cooking herbs and some medicinals, but that's up to you. So I use them to keep food flavorful, but I also use them for medicine. Check out some of my medicinal herb highlighted videos in that playlist if you need any tips and tricks. And they really are super tasty. It's a flavor booster for most of your food. The shelf life, it varies, but honestly, dried spices, I'm not too worried about unless I'm getting them from the grocery store and they have additives. And I get a little nervous about that storage. I will say if I'm storing them with some of my garden harvest, I make sure they are bone dry. I don't freeze dry, I don't dehydrate, I use the air to dry it out, and I am in Northeast Pennsylvania. So there's a little bit of moisture in the air here, but you just need to make sure all of your spices are dried out before you go and store them, because that's what's going to spoil them. And then last but not least is number 10 on my list, and that's flour and baking essentials. So that's really what brings this list to over 10, because those baking essentials can look different for everybody. I have baking soda in there, baking powder, yeast, flour. I have sugar in there. You can make a bunch of things from sugar, brown sugar if you add molasses. If you grind it down, you can make it into powder sugar, but it depends how your bakery and your pantry is set up. So you can make breads with these, you can make sweets, and it's really great to store in Mylar with the oxygen absorber for longevity, but you could always put it in that 5-gallon bucket with the Gamma lids. I get questions about where I get mine, and I've gotten them from a variety of places. Firehouse Subs will sell them to you for $3. You can get them at Walmart in the bakery. They are not giving them away. I've never gotten lucky to see that they've given them away, but you can also buy them. They're relatively inexpensive. So that is going to do it for our list. I know today it was a quick video, but when I'm sitting down and talking to you, a talking head video, if you will, I really like to keep it going. So definitely chime in the comments and let me know what you like to store indefinitely, what you like to store in your 2-year pantry, or maybe you're new to all this and you have questions. I would love to answer them, and I would love to know your thoughts on some of these upcoming inflation issues and food shortages. I know there will be something coming in the future, and I always love to be prepared. So as always, stay adventurous, stay creative, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye, y'all.